My name is Lorrie Shamarin. I'm 58. Ross and I work together at Providence Hospice of Seattle in Tukwila, Washington.
And I'm Ross Robinson. I'm the manager of bereavement services for Western Washington for Providence Hospice. Our cubicles are right next to each other. We are serving different areas of the ministry within hospice. What we're going to talk about is your dad's involvement with Farrell's Ice Cream Parlor. In the 70s and 80s, I was very much involved in our church's youth group. And there would be times that the youth group would run away from the church and sneak away to a Farrell's Ice Cream Parlor. When you walk into a Farrell's Ice Cream Parlor, for those who don't know, it's very stylized period restaurant atmosphere with people wearing straw hats. 1890s, wearing the garters around their sleeves. They are running around serving these incredible ice cream sundaes. My favorite was the pig trough. not a delicate name by any means, but the food was so good. It was like stepping into Disneyland, and you felt special when you were there.
My dad owned a nightclub here in Seattle in Pioneer Square called the Blue Banjo. He decided that he didn't want to do the nightclub thing anymore because of the hours. And he was in Portland with his business partner with the Blue Banjo. They went to this restaurant called Farrell's Ice Cream Parlor, owned by Bob Farrell. And they immediately put a business plan together and presented it to Bob to see if he would be willing to let them create franchises. Bob would keep the Portland one, and Joe and my dad would then grow the business so that they would be all over. Bob agreed. My dad and Joe actually took the concept further even. As you walked in and as you walked out, the waiting area was a huge candy shop. By the time I was 9 or 10, I was done with Farrell's because we would go like 3-4 nights a week. I grew up as the child to the man who ran this outfit, basically. He was in charge of a lot of the crazy ideas, like the button that people got that said, "I made a pig of myself at Farrell's," and people would wear them with pride. He came up with all sorts of concepts. He would hand out hot fudge sundaes to everybody. It was all about promotion. One of the promotions that he came up with was to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. I think the thing that people responded most to about him was his enthusiasm. He had so much enthusiasm for whatever he was doing. I actually believe that it's because of my dad's restaurant and the way that he promoted it that people sing happy birthday in restaurants now.
Oh.
That was not a thing before Farrell's.
Let me just point out that if you were a child celebrating your birthday at Farrell's, what did you receive?
You got a free sundae. I think you got 2 flavors of ice cream and you could say what topping you wanted. Then the atmosphere itself, there were so many people having birthday parties in the restaurant at all times. They were constantly singing and everybody in the restaurant would sing. In most cases, if it was a group of kids, they would order the zoo and come out on a stretcher. And there was a siren that they hit and the siren would go off and they'd run around the whole restaurant. They didn't just go from the kitchen to the table. They ran all around the restaurant. Farrell's was really the first place that you could go and have a birthday party. And it was fun from beginning to end.
Brilliant.
And none of that stuff was done before.
I want to ask about what your dad was like when he was working at Farrell's.
He was an early adopter of the kind of thinking around you need to like yourself before other people are going to like you. In our house and in the restaurant with the employees, people were not allowed to say, "I can't." They could say, "I won't," or "I'm not able to right now." If somebody said, "I should have blah, blah, blah," he would stop them immediately and say, "Okay, what are you going to do differently so this doesn't ever happen again?" When I was about 8, I was complaining to my dad that I didn't have any friends. And my dad said, "Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to, every morning when you get up and every night before you go to bed, I want you to stand in front of the mirror and say the words, 'I like myself unconditionally,' 3 times. I did that for like a week. And according to him, like within a short period of time, he checked in with me and I didn't have a friend problem. I was doing affirmations at age 8 and have been using them my whole life because of him.
That explains a lot, Lorrie, because if ever there were a role model for getting to yes, it is you. I marvel at the way that you treat everybody with equal respect, and hearing the relief in their voice when the light bulb goes on, knowing that somebody is right there alongside of them. In the story that you're telling, I'm hearing a lot of that came from your dad.
You're right. In fact, my relating this story to you actually, sorry, helps me understand that a lot of my character and the way that I interact with the people that I work with and the people that report to me comes directly from my father. He was always so proud of me working here. My dad taught me a lot. He lived life to the fullest, to the very end, and I think that was probably his greatest gift that he gave me.